Welcome to the Fear and Greed Business News Afternoon Report for Tuesday, the 14th of November, 2023. I'm Sean Aylmer. Every afternoon, we've got the 5 stories that happened today that you need to know about. Story number 1, the S&P ASX 200 closed up 0.8% today to finish just over 7,000 points, with energy and materials companies doing best on the back of higher commodity prices. Tech stocks, real estate investment trusts and industrials also did well. Woodside Energy, Santos and Fortescue Metals Group all closed up at about 3% or almost there. Rio Tinto was up 2%, BHP jumped 1%. Westpac was the best of the banks, rising 1.3%, while National Australia Bank went ex-dividend, falling 3%. Suncorp had a strong day, as did WiseTech Global. In corporate news, jeweller Michael Hill, it held its AGM. It said sales are up by just 2% in the first 19 weeks of the financial year and margins are under pressure. More promotions and higher diamond and gold prices have led to margins being squeezed. Laboratory services giant ALS jumped 9% after releasing its half-year results. It was the best on the day. Worst was Link Administration, down 3.3%. Story number 2, veteran Liberal MP Russell Broadbent has quit the party, reducing the number of coalition MPs in the House of Reps to 55. It followed Nationals MP Andrew Gee quitting earlier this year in protest at the party's opposition to the Indigenous voice to Parliament. Liberal MP Julian Leeser quit the front bench over the same reason, but not the party. Broadbent lost pre-selection in his Melbourne seat of Monash over the weekend ahead of the next federal poll. That was enough for him. There are now 18 crossbenchers. That doesn't make too much difference to legislation because Labor already has enough seats in the House of Reps to pass without the crossbenchers. Story number 3, 6 weeks till Christmas. So what's that mean? Well, it's time we start talking about disruptions to air travel. The Transport Workers Union has increased pressure on Virgin Australia over pay agreements as the airline resumes plans to relist with another group of workers, raising the prospect of strikes before Christmas. Virgin cabin crew have applied to the Fair Work Commission for a protected action ballot after ground crew did the same 3 weeks ago as talks over a new enterprise agreement stalled, according to the Financial Review. The TWU said Virgin cancelled a meeting with cabin crew due late last week, labelling the airline's approach to bargaining frustrating. The latest breakdown in pay talks comes as Virgin looks to resume its initial public offering efforts, targeting a May listing. Investors have flagged cost pressures as a major concern for airlines, with jet fuel prices soaring alongside the wage and fleet replacement bills. Story number 4, the number of visitors to and from Australia is creeping higher, though arrivals and departures remain well below pre-COVID levels. We're back to about where we were in 2014, 2015. There were 584,000 short-term arrivals in September, more than 50% higher than a year ago when things were just getting back to normal. Short-term resident returns, as opposed to visitors, that's people coming home to visit the family mostly, they're up about 50% also. Total arrivals were just over 1.6 million during the month of September, according to the Bureau of Statistics, while total departures was just under 1.6 million. New Zealand was the largest source country, accounting for 22% of all visitor arrivals. Next on the list were China and the USA. In story number 5, an interesting one, Google pays Apple 36% of the revenue it earns from search advertising made through the Safari browser. The number was disclosed during testimony in Google's defense at the Justice Department's antitrust trial in Washington. Now, neither Google nor Apple wanted to disclose details of their agreement. Google basically said it would undermine its competitive standing. The companies have had a partnership since 2002 that makes Google the default search engine in Apple Safari. That deal is the most important of Google's default deals, since it sets the search engine for the iPhone, the most used smartphone in the US. The Justice Department is targeting that agreement as evidence Google is illegally maintaining its dominance over the search engine and search advertising markets. That's it for the afternoon report for Tuesday, the 14th of November, 2023. Don't forget to hit follow on the podcast and find Fear and Greed on LinkedIn, Instagram, X and Facebook. Join Michael Thomas and I tomorrow morning for the Fast 5 by Fear and Greed, the top 5 business stories you need to know in just 5 minutes. I'm Sean Aylmer. Enjoy your evening.